Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So before we get into this video, can I just ask that if you regularly watch my videos that you please consider subscribing. You can do so by clicking the subscribe button below. And if you enjoy this video, that you please smash the like button and that you share this video far and wide. Alright, so the breaking news is that Lt-Gen Shadrack Sibiya has been asked to please take a leave of absence. Yeah, that's right. This is very, very weird because there's a big difference between leave of absence and being suspended. And let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about. So according to AI, which as we know knows everything about everything, I'm being facetious here, but a leave of absence is typically a planned temporary absence from work for reasons like personal illness, family emergencies, or other pre-approved reasons, while suspension is an imposed temporary removal from work, often as a disciplinary measure or while an investigation is conducted. Essentially, a leave of absence is usually voluntary and requested by the employee, whereas a suspension is an action taken by the employer. So you can already see that there's a problem here because Shadrack Sibiya has been implicated in alleged wrongdoing by Mkhwanazi, who stated that he prevented a task team from continuing their work. Now, the latest here from News 24 says that Lt-Gen Shadrack Sibiya asked to take leave of absence amid Mkhwanazi claims. So the statement here, it just refers what they mentioned, but it says, Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Lt-Gen Shadrack Sibiya, has been asked to take leave of absence following explosive allegations about interference in politically motivated murder investigations. Sibiya, who was a central figure in the allegations made by KZN's Police Commissioner Mkhwanazi last Sunday, was informed telephonically by his superior National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemola to remain at home. So that already sets up what I'm about to talk about now. So it is quite problematic that when you are mentioned in a press conference to be involved in really shady business, that you are asked to take a leave of absence, which is not what should happen when you are fingered in very serious allegations. And let me explain why, and let me read why. The South African Police Service Discipline Regulations from 2016 makes it very clear when you should be suspended and when you are to take leave of absence. So the options for suspension from the SAPS is that you are placed in a precautionary suspension with full pay. And then another option is suspension without pay, and then a dismissal, of course, that is post the investigation. But also other measures is that you can transfer or have modified duties, meaning that you are not put in a situation where you can interfere with the investigation. And then also no action is an option, but we know that this is not going to form part of that. So there's a big difference between a leave of absence and being suspended. Now, when it comes to an investigation like this, and especially when it's going to be a commission that is quite open-ended and we don't know how long it's going to take, the right call would have been suspension, meaning that you can't interact with potential witnesses, you can't interfere with the investigation when you are suspended, because if you do, then you immediately get dismissed. That is what happens when you are placed on suspension. So the fact that the SAPS didn't follow their own disciplinary guidelines by the the South African Police Service Discipline Regulations from 2016, they're not even following their own guidelines here. They are asking somebody that has been accused of being involved in very serious things to just take a leave of absence. Now, a leave of absence is when there's a family emergency or you're not feeling well and you just need to chill at home. There's a big difference between that and being placed on suspension. Now, whether it's a precautionary suspension, whether it is suspension without pay, that the point of it all, like I said, is that leave of absence means that you are allowed to engage with whomever you want, and you can talk with whomever you want, and you can intimidate or threaten whomever you want. Whereas when you are placed on suspension, you're not allowed to communicate with anybody that's involved with the case. So this is a massive oversight once again from the SAPS themselves. You would think that the SAPS, more than anybody else, would know better as to what the right call is here. And the fact that you are merely just placing him on a leave of absence after you've asked him already tells you that there is some funny business going on here. The big difference, of course, here being that the Minister of Police is a political appointed person, and therefore the president can say you are being placed on leave. Whereas when you work within the SAPS, there are different rules and regulations, and being asked to take a leave of absence is not the right way. And unfortunately, with the SAPS having such a dark cloud hanging over their heads, this is just like another thing that doesn't sit well with a lot of South Africans. It's clearly a case of you needed to suspend this person pending the outcome of the investigation. Now, yes, you are innocent until proven guilty, but there's a big difference when you have a lot of influence over the SAPS, and instead of being suspended, you are just placed on a leave of absence. Like I said before, that gives you a lot more things that you could potentially do to interfere with the investigation if you were that way inclined, which of course, based on the allegations made, tells me that it's definitely within that person's possibility to do this if he so wished. So ultimately, the SAPS has once again failed South Africa. And listen, this is not a reflection on the hard-working SAPS police officers that have nothing to do with this. This is clearly a case of blaming the top brass within the SAPS and not your average Joe police officer that's just trying to do the best that they can to fight crime. So not only did these individuals at the top of the SAPS fail the public of South Africa, but no, they've also failed their very own by allowing this dark cloud to hang over every single police officer. And that is just not right. And it once again speaks to whether or not people in these positions are actually able to fulfill their duties and have the capacity to do so. Let's just hope that the National Commissioner of the SAPS does the right thing and places him on suspension rather than just a leave of absence, because ultimately South Africa wants to sleep at night knowing that they can, after all of this, still trust the SAPS. Because guess what? If it comes out that the SAPS can be bought, especially the senior officials within the SAPS, then we're going to have a lot more things to worry about in this country than merely whether there's load shedding or whether or not we've got 30 or 40% tariff increases. Because if we can't trust the people that protect us, then who can we trust? And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And if you enjoy my content, then please consider becoming a member. You can do so by clicking the join button below. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Till later, cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.